This may not be a foreign policy question, but I think foreign policy cannot operate without a good economy. What is the latest report on the U.S. economy? Has it hit rock bottom?
Well, actually, the reports are that we are stabilizing, that we're not out of this yet at all, and that we still have very high unemployment, particularly in some parts of our country. But our Federal Reserve Chairman, Chairman Bernanke, testified yesterday before the Congress and said that we think that we should be able to maintain the plateau we're on. We're obviously, like much of the world, at negative growth, but we might, by the end of this year and early next year, see a slight positive growth and then jobs returning. But we're not out of the woods yet. I guess that's the best way of saying it.
Right. Are you here in Asia or giving more importance to Asia? It's because you want to balance of China as well because of its economic clout this day?
Well, I think that we all want China's remarkable rise to be a peaceful one. We want China to compete peacefully in the economy and in the political arena. And therefore, the more we involve China in the work we're doing and in organizations like ASEAN, the more opportunities we'll have to create a positive framework for not just China's future, but Asia's future. Now, I know that a lot of China's neighbors have expressed concerns, so we want to certainly strengthen our relationships with a lot of the countries that are in East and Southeast Asia. But what we hope is that we all can work together and that China remains focused on raising the economic well-being of their people and competing in the marketplace. And that's our goal. We will be starting a very significant strategic and economic dialogue with China on Monday, which I will lead along with our Treasury Secretary. So we want to explore areas of cooperation. And I think there are some. Obviously, we were very pleased to get the cooperation from China with respect to North Korea, which is important because they have a border with North Korea and long-standing ties with North Korea. And we want to look for other areas to deepen that cooperation.
You were in China in February?
Yes, I was.
Some critics said you were too soft on China on the human rights issue.
No, what I said was that we will always have human rights as a key part of our foreign policy. And I raised the tough issues, Tibet and Taiwan, religious persecution. But that's not all our relationship is about. And I think it's important to have a more comprehensive relationship. The Chinese know what we're going to say about Tibet and Taiwan. There's no surprises there. We believe that they should allow more autonomy for the Tibetan people. They should respect Tibet's religious and cultural traditions. They should have a dialogue with the Dalai Lama and his representatives. They know what we're going to say about Taiwan, which is that we have, every intention of, following the policies between the United States and China that were established years ago. There's a one China policy, and we understand that. But we also have relations in the economic sphere and in defense with Taiwan. They know we're going to say all of that.
Right.
So it doesn't help our relationship to broaden if we just come and say the same thing and they say the same thing back, and we don't talk about education, health care, the economy, the political challenges we face. So my goal was to try to make sure we had a broader base, and that's what we're going to pursue. It's a broader approach that takes along some of the tried and true, but tries to also pick out some new areas.
Did you take a new approach from the Chinese side too?
I think our relations in the last 6 months have been very positive. Now, we do disagree. There's no doubt about that. But I think we'll find in this strategic and economic dialogue starting Monday that the Chinese are very willing to talk with us as we are with them to see as many areas of agreement as possible.
Do you think the image of the U.S. so far since the Obama administration, do you think the image of the U.S. has changed in a more positive way around the world?
I think it has. At least I hope it has. It certainly feels that way when I travel. There is a great sigh of relief in some places that people believe that we will show mutual respect or expect mutual respect, that we will listen, and that we will try to find common ground. Now, we're not going to agree with everybody. That is obvious. We have our own perspectives and experience and goals. But we want to work in a constructive way. I'll give you an example from our hemisphere. There was recently an action in Honduras where part of the government removed the president, who had been lawfully elected. And in the past, a lot of people just expected the United States to side with the establishment, and we didn't. We said, no, this is unacceptable. We are working very hard to try to resolve this. And it was a surprise to many people in the region. We've opened up talks with Cuba again, which had been on hold for a long time. So around the world, we are trying to do what we think is actually smart power, which means, you have to work with people, and you have to be conscious of what their expectations and goals are. I just came from India. India and the United States have some disagreements over the best way to deal with climate change. But in listening to the Indian officials, there are many areas of agreement. So why would we just focus on the disagreement? Let's see how many areas of agreement we can sign off on, and then try to tackle the disagreement. So I think that many people around the world feel as though we are following through on what the President and I said, and that is that we're going to have a different kind of diplomatic presence.